Hello folks, this is Aditya Najha from InspiredToRise.com, and today we have the Vivo V5 smartphone here with us for a detailed hands-on review of the same. So guys, let's begin. So guys, the Vivo V5 comes with a 5.5-inch HD display, 720p HD display. It's not a full HD display, and this device has a nice metallic finish. On the bottom we have the 3.5mm jack, speaker grill and the micro USB port, and it has a nice industrial design. It comes with a 2.5D curved glass display and Gorilla Glass on top. It has the power button and the volume rocker on the right hand side. We have the SIM tray slot on the left hand side, and you can see the antenna bands also. And when the SIM tray slot is opened up, it reveals that it comes with a hybrid SIM tray slot, and expandable storage is supported up to 128GB via micro SD card. And on the back you have the camera, a very slight camera bump, and the fingerprint sensor is on the bottom. It comes with a MediaTek octa-core chipset, 4GB of RAM, 32GB of internal storage, a 3000 mAh battery, and it also comes with all of these sensors that you can see. It does come up with a gyroscope sensor, so I am definitely pleased, and it scored only around 44,000 on the Antutu benchmark, which was pretty low score. Even in terms of the Geekbench 3 performance, it was way behind smartphones like Redmi Note 3, and when I compared in terms of graphics performance, then it was okay. It scored around 60.6 frames per second on the Nina Mark 2 benchmark. You can see that over here, and you can see the comparisons also. So 60.6 frames per second on the Nina Mark 2 benchmark. Okay in terms of graphic performance, but the chipset is definitely weak, and 21,070 on the Quadrant standard, which is also a very low score. Needless to say, it is an underpowered smartphone considering the price, but I was able to surprisingly play Grand Theft Auto Vice City and few other games with ease, and what I saw was that the gaming performance was okay. I would say that this is because of the fact that it has a good GPU and it only has a 720p HD display, not a full HD display. So 720p HD is definitely easier to push in terms of pixels as opposed to a full HD display. So somehow Vivo has cut over here, they have cut corners over here. It is visible. It comes with a 13 megapixel primary camera and a 20 megapixel front camera, which is the Moonlight selfie camera. The selfie camera was definitely good, but the primary camera was no good. It did not capture any of great images that I thought of that the Vivo camera could capture. It does come up with good modes like manual mode, etc. You also get other modes like HDR. Overall, in terms of options, the camera is definitely good, but the back camera is nothing when compared to a lot of other 13 megapixel cameras around, and the selfie camera was definitely good. And this is a video shot from the primary camera. The quality was definitely not that great as I had expected from a camera centric smartphone like this. The front camera did shoot good videos in terms of clarity, but in terms of exposure it wasn't that great. It wasn't able to differentiate between different exposure areas easily. There is another feature called the Smart Multi-Screen, which allows you to use Facebook, WhatsApp messages, etc. while watching videos also, and you get other features like the global eye protection, which allows you to turn down the blue light of your smartphone screen. You also get different modes in this, and you also get the long screenshot and screen recording features inbuilt in the FunTouch OS itself. These are some great nice additions. You also get the Compass application to use day to day, and the fingerprint sensor on the smartphone is pretty fast. It worked accurately every time I used it. Though some people might not like the placement that it is placed on the front and not on the back, and that's something which is annoying to some people, but some people do prefer it that way. It comes with latest version of FunTouch OS based on Android 6.0, and the OS is smooth, fluid as always. Vivo guys have got this custom ROM right, and there is almost nothing to complain about in this custom ROM. You get a lot of shortcuts, etc. The phone would retail at a price of 17,980, and for this price I consider it quite overpriced. The pre-order dates and first sale dates are on the screen in front of you, and I consider that for this price this smartphone is definitely not worth it. You can spend a little more and get a better smartphone out there, or you can spend a little less and get the Redmi Note 3 or any other smartphone out there. So guys, this was it for this video. In case you like this one, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. This is Aditya Najha from InspiredToRise.com signing off folks. Stay inspired to rise.